Today, 5 years later, since I did on this channel my last update on the Overturn prophecy, by a Nigerian lady residing in the United States of America, who had never been to Kenya in all her life. By the time this prophecy came to her, for the first time after 5 years, I'm now doing an update today, and oh my, is it fascinating? You know, many times in this life, in the heat of the moment, things are never clear. But when time passes, with the passage of time, things always become much more clearer. And this is the same with prophecies. A lot of you have pestered me. I believe those of you are very spiritually sensitive. You have asked me over the years, in fact over the last 2 years especially, Chris, what happened to the Overturn prophecy? They've been urging me to do an update. And I must confess, I was still asleep. They were awake, I was asleep. However, fortunately, I have now finally woken up. Now, there's something very important we all need to understand about prophecies. And I'll tell you a story, a true story, to illustrate this very clearly. There was a prophet called Prophet Elijah, and he made a prophecy about the destiny of a woman called Jezebel, who was the wife of a king called Ahab. And many years passed after this prophecy. Now please bear with me. This is very relevant to what is happening in Kenya right now. Indeed, I believe this update will give us a very clear idea of what is going to unfold in our country next, why what is happening, etc., etc. And so many years passed on. This prophet called Elijah left planet Earth, and I'm sure people started making jokes, especially those who were close to Queen Jezebel, those who loved her. I'm sure they said something like, hey, we used to have a prophet who used to be called Elijah. He did a lot of wonderful things. He did many miraculous things. But there is one prophecy. Hey, that prophecy was fake. It never came to pass. That prophecy about the end of Jezebel, her death, and dogs licking the remains, etc., etc. That horror story of a prophecy, it never came to pass. He made a mistake. That prophecy must have been fake. And I'm sure many people in the land concluded the same. And then one day, suddenly out of the blue, there was another prophet in office called Elisha. It all started when Prophet Elisha did a very strange thing. He sent one of his servants to anoint a very ruthless army general as king. And the name of that king was Jehu. You know the rest of the story. It became very clear that the reason why this particular king was chosen by Almighty God was to do one thing and one thing alone: to dish out, if I can put it like that, the judgment over the house of King Ahab. And this man did it with a lot of zeal. And that prophecy which people had called fake, which people had given up on, came to pass very accurately, to the letter, in great detail, with the passing on, very terrible passing on, of Queen Jezebel. Overturn, 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 and it shall be no more until that chosen one, the one Almighty God has chosen, comes. That was a prophecy. But there were super fascinating, very important riders, if you'll allow me to remind you. Change shall come to Kenya, but it shall not come how Kenyans expect it to come, and it shall not come when Kenyans expect it to come. So that prophecy confirmed that actually Kenya is going to change. Now when you look at our motherland right now, that seems very unlikely. Yeah, because it is more of same old, multiplied, square root, same old, same old. But the prophecy says, change shall come to Kenya. It shall surely come. But it shall not come how we expect it to come. And it shall not come when we expect it to come. Now, since my last update, there have been very many overturns. The BBI, very noble project, championed by very powerful people in the Republic of Kenya at the time. President Uhuru Kenyatta, fourth president of Kenya, and Raila Odinga. What happened to the BBI? Overturn. It failed. Reggae actually stopped. Now, something important to note. These overturns, we are not told, are overturns over evil things. No. Anything that will come will have to be overturned. Anything powerful, led by powerful people, powerful forces, will be overturned. And indeed we have seen that. The very powerful Azimio political juggernaut, which had won the hearts of over 75% of Kenyans. Yeah, we now know that for a fact, through figures and other evidence. That one also was overturned. And there have been dozens of other overturns. Yeah, mainly what the Ruto presidency has done, it has overturned many previously powerful things in the nation called Kenya. Remember, a part of the prophecy says, and it shall be no more. That is very scary, but that's what it says. Even powerful governments have not been spared by this prophecy. Let me just remind you very quickly. The Jubilee government of 2017, early 2018, after the elections, is not the same Jubilee government that emerged after March 2018, after the handshake. Because what emerged after that was the handshake government, a very, very different government that operated very differently, that won the hearts of many Kenyans, yeah, although others were complaining at the time. But now they know better when they compare and contrast. And therefore what that means is that that initial Jubilee government was overturned. Now, something else I find more than super fascinating. You know, we're in the season of judgment. Everybody knows that. Everybody agrees. At least most people agree. Spiritual people. And so the question I want to ask, does this season contradict the prophecy? No. They go together seamlessly. Because you see, overturns result in one thing. Yeah, one very important thing. They result in judgment. There is pain after an overturn. Somebody, group of people, in fact a large group of people, feel a lot of pain after an overturn. After the overturn of the Azimio victory in August 2022, there was so much pain in the country called Kenya that you could actually feel it in the air. Yeah, and it even almost brought down many of our major media houses because their customers left in a huge crowd overnight because of the pain that was judgment over the nation called Kenya, over the people who do not acknowledge Almighty God, and they feel that they're able to do things on their own, get a government they want into power, a government of their own, without consulting, without any help from Almighty God, because maybe Almighty God had other ideas, but then people don't care, they're not interested. Judgment. In my opinion, the Ruto presidency is beginning to look very much like the reign of King Jehu. Yeah, many decades and years ago. Because I'm sure you have seen, there are very many houses of King Ahab that have been brought down by the Ruto administration. Others are staggering at the moment, and there is a very high likelihood that they'll be brought down. You remember the campaign about dynasties, bringing down dynasties in Kenya, ending dynasties in Kenya, etc., etc. Look at it without emotion. Step back. Isn't that what has unfolded? Even more overturns. And so, what should we expect going forward? Taking into account what has already happened, which seems to confirm this prophecy 100%, 1000%, what should we expect next? It is much clearer now. We should expect many more overturns, and the overturns coming up are going to be very traumatic. There's going to be a lot of trauma in them. How do I know this? Because I have reason to believe, let me just say in my opinion, that we are almost coming to the end of the overturns, when there'll be nothing left. And then there'll be that period of waiting until the one who is chosen, the one whose right it is, comes. And then that will be the conclusion of that prophecy. But be encouraged in this rider from the prophetess who gave us this prophecy. Change shall come to Kenya, but it shall not come to Kenya how we expect it, and it shall not come to us when we expect it. It will come at a time when we least expect it, which also implies that the role of the political class in these changes which will come to Kenya will hardly be there. It will not be there. What? Let me repeat that. The political class will not be involved. So who will be involved? I think other people who are not in the political class. Isn't that what it means? Well, let's wait and see. I hope to give you another update in the not too distant future. And considering this pain, in case you've not yet had the chance to take in my latest sizzler, the Ruto Kenyans will never know, there is a unique opportunity over the next 24 hours to do so. If you feel that you need this very important content and your budget doesn't quite cut it to enable you to get your hands on it, for the next 24 hours, you can name your price. Lakini usinifinye sana, and for that reason the limit will be 50. The first 50 to send me an email on that email address you see on your screens right now, youmissthis@gmail.com, naming your price. And then guess what? I will also throw in another valuable Kumekucha book. You can choose for yourself, or you can allow me to choose for you. The most liked of my other ebooks, of course, is Dark Secrets of the Kenyan Presidency, How Mutula Kilonzo Sr. was murdered, yeah, and then there's another one called The President's Lovers. Now that last one of you took it in recently, and they were delighted, very excited about it. And yes, it talks about a Kenyan president. And so, you have this very exciting opportunity. Please take full advantage of it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.